Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. Okay, I was in the process of preparing an extreme bear case, as I felt my Q2 estimate was a bit on the high side, as I just couldn't work out what I was missing. In the past, I've had estimates particularly higher than others, and yet the real numbers have still come in higher. However, my estimates have never been this far out. So I decided to try a bear case, and I still couldn't get under $2. I started thinking that something must be wrong somewhere, and going through the entire spreadsheet. Remember, this is a new spreadsheet for me that I had to make specifically for this quarter. I usually go off a traditional template, and on top of that, there really was a lot on this quarter. Anyway, I also hate excuses. It was my fault, and I absolutely hate being wrong, and I take full responsibility. So as soon as I realized I had to make sure I told you, I also wanted to make sure I got this video out before the market opened. Anyway, there was an error. I found it. I was dividing the FSD revenue by 100,000 instead of 1 million in order to give figures in millions. Oops. I was an order of magnitude out. This does still give us a gross profit of $4.4 billion. Not quite the $5 billion we hoped for, though. I thought after all your feedback too, I could update the full model. I'll start by reducing the regulatory credits to just 300 million. As for R&D, I did also say that that was on the high side, but one of my many great listeners reminded me of what was said on the Q1's earnings call. Note that commissioning costs for our factories are in R&D, as Berlin started production in late March and Austin in early April. These costs will be in automotive costs going forward, given these factories are now producing customer sellable cars. In actual fact, it appears to have been testing the new production lines. I'm still going to keep it reasonably high, but remove $100 million. I've reduced my Bitcoin impairment by $50 million too. I was being way too bearish on that. I also reduced the tax slightly, and that's actually all I want to adjust. Okay, the good news is, this still ends up at $2 EPS. Wall Street is estimating $1.84. Supposedly they're not even including the Bitcoin impairment in that. $1.84 does seem a bit high too for Wall Street. Usually their estimates are well below retail. Or perhaps they have some manipulation to do. Alright, we did the best math we could in order to estimate the prices and margins, but I did a quick experiment and dropped the margins by 1%, and we're still at $1.90 EPS, i.e. still beating expectations. And there's likely going to be all sorts of surprises in this earnings that Tesla could throw at us, like they have in the past. Extra large costs in some areas, more income than expected in other areas. Look, perhaps Tesla actually end up selling some Bitcoin, or Tesla could release some of their deferred revenue in FSD. There's quite a bit in that fund now. And there will likely be some surprises, especially for this crazy quarter. Okay, once again, I'm super sorry to have gotten all your hopes up like that. On the plus side, I think it's still going to be a better quarter than most are expecting it to be. Anyway, hopefully the real lesson here was that you should always do your own research. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.